Welcome back, guys. We're here for Jaws 2.0.
Hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
But I really want to touch on something that happened more recently. I want to kind of get right into it because it's something that's very fresh. And again, only if you're comfortable with it, but is talking about just where you're at right now with pregnancy. Because I can share with you what it's, to viewers on my side, how it's impacting my life, but also what's really going on with you from a mental, emotional standpoint, from the insecurities to, just really not like being pregnant, to very uncomfortable in your own skin, to, really struggling right now. And so again, is not to put you on the spot, but I think it's very, the timing of it right now is very real. And obviously you've been in a lot of pain about this and very emotional. And, where do you want to start with that?
I think I thought we were going to talk about the last 5 years. And here we go. Guns a-blazing. You got issues, let's talk about them. Okay, here we go. I got a lot of issues. I'm the problem, okay? It's me. Hi, I'm the problem.
Tables have turned,
I'm the
guys.
problem. Okay, so let's be real. I don't like being pregnant, you guys. I think I mentioned this yesterday in my stories. I think it's a really, really difficult situation. Last week, Jason and I went to church, and he had brought in some friends that he's friends with at work, and I was really not in a position to make new friends at that point. I was emotionally very unstable. I woke up, just the last couple weeks, I've just been very depressed. I don't know what it is about this pregnancy. I'm showing much sooner. My clothes aren't fitting. It's been really hard with the hormones and feeling like I'm just going to cry all of a sudden. I feel like I have I'm trying to figure out the word. No
regulation?
Yeah, like no control, no control over my emotions. And so it's very challenging. Also, I read that you only have 70% of your brain capacity. So I also feel like I'm a little not smart right now, and I can't get my words out exactly the way that I'm supposed to. So hang along with me, people.
I think it's more than that, but I think again, it's like diving into like just, you're touching on a little bit about, but what about like just the emotions that you're going through? Well,
that's what I'm getting to. I think the hardest thing is I've had some instances that have happened that I'm not going to go into that kind of separated a little bit of my friend group and has made me feel like I haven't really had as much of like a girl support that I used to friend-wise. And I think that that's been challenging because as much as I love Jason, it's very hard for him to relate to me with what it's like to have your body growing and changing in the hormones and the insecurities. And for me, I don't like that my body's, I like that my body's growing because of the baby, but I don't like the physical changes of what my body looks like when I'm pregnant. I'm very insecure about it. I'm very uncomfortable. I stand on my feet a lot for work, and so my pelvic floor feels like it's falling through, and that is very uncomfortable at times.
But it's interesting because I actually think she looks more beautiful, and then she gets mad at me for saying that. So.
Thank you. I know I'm a mess. And to be honest, I really haven't met with a therapist in a while. I haven't met with our therapist. Jason meets with our therapist more than me. I guess because I think I just am fine, but clearly I'm not because I'm breaking down. And I did make a therapy appointment today, so I will have an appointment with our therapist today. And I'm just feeling like a little bit of not lack of support from my husband or for my kids, but I think just lack of support from my friends, which maybe sounds horrible because I'm very almost like manipulative not manipulative, that's the wrong word, but basically I don't take the time to call my friends to go out to lunch, and then I complain about not feeling like I have support from my friends because I'm not doing the initiative.
You're not intentional about it.
No, I'm not intentional about it. That's very true. And I'm not intentional about making the community, but you want to know why? Is because sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time to be intentional about it, which is really a hard battle that I have because there's laundry that needs to be done. We have friends coming into town today. Like all the things that I need to be doing for the household on my day off, those are things I have to get done instead of making time for my friends.
Well,
that's how I feel.
Well, that's how you feel, but it's also from a prioritization standpoint, it's reprioritizing and being able to shift those things. It's like, hey, there's time right now that I really need support and stuff like that. Doing the laundry is not going to be more important than you connecting with your friends and being in a place where you feel, you feel heard and you feel supported. I mean, I think that's where some of this is, and look, it's way easier said than done. It's great and easy to give direction from somebody they're not dealing with the issue, from me, from the outside in. But I think that's a key thing that I think for all of us is to be making sure that we're taking the time for ourselves, and that looks different for everybody. And like, again, some of the things that you addressed for me personally would not be things that are taking care of myself. The things that I want to get done, they're not things that I need to get done to make sure that I'm in the best place for me. That's like the last thing in the world I wanted to do this morning was, hop onto with my sponsor and go through the Al-Anon process and go through what we're going through right now. But again, is like, through that, spoke for an hour and was able to really kind of nail on some things. And he really brought to light. He's called me out. He's like, dude, you're a fucking people pleaser. Like, and I was like, all right, man, I appreciate that. Like, and it really brought context to that. And like, he also, my prayer life and everything is really, really good and feel very connected with God. But he's like, how's your meditation? And I was like, I kind of see my prayer as my meditation. He's like, no, dude, they're two totally separate things, which I agree. And my meditation life was just has been very, very minimal compared to some areas of my life where I'm doing really good and some areas that I'm doing smaller. And right after we were done, I was like, dude, I'm going straight into meditation. And just like taking the action of that, and those are the things that I need, because I'm over here on my side complaining about certain things in my life. But again, as I'm learning that really I'm the only person that has control over any situation. I am powerless over every single person that is out there. The only thing I do have power is over myself and the direction I make. So bringing it back to you is I think it's really important that you bring these things up, but it's nice to share, because other people go through this and they go through because I'm sure you feel like you're a bad mom, or you feel like
I feel horrible when I talk about how I don't like being pregnant. It's like I can't even say the words because it feels so shameful to me to be like, I don't like the other day when we were at church and I sat in the car and I cried and I was like, I just hate being pregnant, and I just broke down after church. And I couldn't go to lunch with these other people that I had never really met before, even though they're wonderful people, because I couldn't show myself being so vulnerable around strangers. I think that was really challenging for me, and I was really, really struggling in that morning. And
Let's
it's
talk
not
about
even
that. Why is it hard for you to be? Because I'm curious, because I feel like you're a pretty open, vulnerable person. I mean, so what was the guard up with that?
I am. I just think when it comes to my body insecurities, I don't like talking to strangers about that. I just don't, like, if it's about like, oh, I'm having a challenging time with our children, or I'm doing this. It's like, it's so personal to me, like, to be talking about like my body struggles with people that don't know my backstory.
I fully understand that, but is it really deep, like internal? Is it more of like a shame thing that you have toward yourself? I feel like that's like a really sensitive subject with you over anything else. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to go share this with random strangers, like going to a restaurant. Hey guys, I feel like shit. I feel like I'm fat. You know what I mean? Like, but like, how. Because I feel like you're like everything else, but when it hits, like the one thing I'm learning about you is like over these last 12 years, like when it comes to like how you look, or like your weight or different things, like
it's not even how I look. I think it's my weight. That's the biggest thing.
But I guess that's how you look. I mean, let's get that pregnancy brain back, man.
Gosh.
But that's such a trigger point with you.
My weight.
No, just like that piece. Just like for me I can, from a guy's perspective, I can tell you that, I mean, definitely, it bothers me the way I look and stuff like that. Like, I have my own things that I deal with within that, and happy to address that and talk about that in any way, shape, or form. But I'm not ashamed to talk about it, because but I wonder if that's because I didn't always deal with that, though. It was something that's been new as I've gotten older. Versus I feel like you've dealt with that for a lot longer. I don't know. I'm just trying to uncover that.
I think it's like when you're in a position and you're already like burnt out, and then you don't feel good about yourself, and then you're meeting new people and you're like, I don't even want to meet new people right now. Like, I'm just not. I want to be in my community. I don't want to be like trying to extend my community. Like, you feel like that a lot of times when you're like, I don't really want to go hang out with new people to try and like have conversations with people.
Well, it's because
that are just surface, but I'm not going to be like close. I mean,
Well, it's just because I'm maxed out, though.
But that's the same.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. I'm growing a human. We have 2 kids. I'm trying to come home every night, cook dinner. I work. I stand on my feet all day long. I'm like, and then you want me to go to church and start meeting new people? It's like, I just think with Thanksgiving, we had a lot of people over. Not a lot of people, but like that was a big ordeal. And I undertook a little too much. And even though I like to do it, it was stressful. And it's like this really bad situation where it's like I want to do all the things and I'm yelling at everybody when all the things are not perfect. And then my mom made a comment and was like, wow, now I know where you get it, because I always say that. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, I'm a direct reflection of you and all your issues.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But bringing this back though, like just like you, the insecurities that you've been dealing with and stuff, like you address those things, like where are you at right now today?
I actually feel like I'm pretty good. And one of the things that maybe I'm lying to everybody. I'm great. Bye. I think mentally, I had yesterday pretty much off and I have today off. And when I have the time to rest, work is very challenging for me right now because I don't feel good. I'm huffing intense chemicals all day. I'm standing on my feet. I'm trying to deal with other people's schedules along with our own children's schedules. And I'm feeling very maxed out and very like depleted at work a little bit. And so when I have days off and I can actually be home and get stuff done, here's the one thing that I know about myself. When my house is a mess, I have the worst. I'm a mess. When my car's a mess, I'm a mess. I mean, it's one of the things in recovery that we learn a lot. Like, you feel like your life is chaotic, clean up the mess around you and you'll start feeling better about yourself. Take care of yourself and you'll start feeling better about yourself. Like that's like 101. So those are issues where I know where I'm falling short if the house is not picked up and stuff like that. It's not like I'm trying to make the house picked up for everybody else. It's like, no, it actually makes me feel good. It makes me feel good when our bed is made. It makes me feel
100%.
good when I'm taking time to go work out for myself. And right now, working out has been challenging, you know. I've been trying to go to Pure Barre twice a week, and I do feel like even though I hate working out right now, when I go the next day, I feel better. I don't know if I feel better the day of, but I do feel better the next day. And I did make time to go work out today at noon. So I'm, as much as I'm not as much looking forward to that, which I used to be really into working out, I know it's good mentally, like you always say, which is really important. Like working out is not really for your physical body, it's for your mental body. Like you work out for your brain. And I'm learning that more and more. Like working out for me is less of like, okay, I'm going to work out because I want to look good. It's like, no, I'm going to work out so that I'm not depressed and I feel like crap every day.
So I feel better. Yeah. Well, I think that's good. So I think the takeaway here is, I think it'd be interesting, you know, to even start next week. Again, is we'll kind of just go from where things are at. But I think with you talking to your therapist and you know, kind of addressing some of these things, I think for people to hear the takeaways that you're taking from this, I think would be really beneficial and helpful, because there's obviously a lot of people that are out there that are pregnant and going through what they're going through. And I appreciate you just, you know, being so open and talking to people about this, because I know it's hard. It's not easy to address these things. And but again, is I know our intent is to create conversation around uncomfortable things, because it's the way to heal. I mean, awareness is the key indicator to any form of making something better. Because if you're not aware of it, you can't address it.
Okay, so now that we've gone over things that I need to work on, and I will follow up with everybody next week about how my therapy appointment goes and some tools, because I think that that's important. Like, we don't want to just share information here and then not have any idea of how
Here's
to.
all our problems.
Here's all
Good
our
luck.
problems.
Good luck.
Help me.
Yeah.
No, but actually have action, because this is an action program, like action for how we're going to make things better. What did you learn today in your Al-Anon meeting about people pleasing, and what are some of the actions that you're going to do?
Well, I think I've been aware of the people pleasing for years, and again, is what I get from that is you know, there's validation that I get from that. There's self-worth that I get from that. And again, it's not the most healthy thing. If I continue, because ultimately what I want in my life right now is obviously my relationship with the Lord to be strong. I want my sobriety, and I want to, you know, be with my kids and my family, do what I need to do, but I want more peace in my life. I want to strive for deeper peace. And if I continue to do the things that I'm doing, I'm not going to achieve that peace. And so a lot of that is the people pleasing, and I'm getting hit at from every angle, from work, from friends, from family, from just, and again, it's quality problems, but at the end of the day, I need to learn to set a boundary with these things. And I mean, I was basically called out to address and to put something together of, hey, look, like, why, there's he's like, why don't you just, whether you switch your number or you have limited access to you or different things, and create these barriers for people to get to you, like, why is it so hard for you to do? Because you've heard me talk about switching my number or just doing different things, and it's the fear of letting go, right? And that's where, like, that, it's like wanting to be the support for people, wanting to be able to help, but it's like, ultimately when I'm doing that, it's depriving me of my own self, my own time for myself, time with my kids, and I end up becoming depleted by the end of the day. And so really what we're focusing on right now is we're going to basically address and put a list together of the people that I really want to be in my life, be very intentional around the people I want to communicate with and connect with, and then create a separation and a boundary for the others that are not going to, that I'm not going to have as much access with, right? And so, which is challenging because I have a lot of amazing people in my life, but it's, again, is I've learned that, like, you can't be there for all people, and, like, you can't have meaningful and deep relationships with hundreds of people. It's like you got to have, like, a core group and to really be intentional around that. And so for me is I'm going to list out, like, some of the key people in my life and really identify who I want to have and develop deeper relationships with, and then the ones that are still friends of, like, people that are friends of mine and stuff, but it's just the timing and things like that. It's not appropriate right now. Create that separation, and it's like, having communication and especially with work, like, not having people have such access to me. And I know that may sound super lame, but it's like, I need to create that barrier because I'm trying to do all things for all people, and it's not working. And so, I have an amazing person that works with me that can really help that and create that separation, and just, from that side is for certain people, being able to reach out through email, have my phone that I have currently, but and having the individual that works with me help manage that, and then have my own phone that is literally like family and just very close friends to create that separation.
I think this is so important too, like, and we can just end after I bring this topic up, but I think, like, even me, like, getting a work phone, we work in such jobs where we are so connected with people that it can deplete ourselves from having the energy to, like I was saying, like, making time for actual community that I want to spend time with, because I feel so emotionally depleted by, and this is like, I don't want this to feel bad for my clients, but it's like, I have so many people that I'm interacting with on the daily basis that by the end of the week, I'm like, I just don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so emotionally, mentally depleted that I don't want to have any more conversations. All I do is have conversations all day long. And then I have conversations with my kids. I don't want to have enough time to have conversations with you. That even taking the time on Thursday and Friday to have conversations with the people I care about the most, my friends and my community, it's hard for me because I'm depleted. And that's really, I think, what it comes down to is, like,
it's burnout.
We have to take that
burnout.
separation, especially being people in recovery. Like, we have to realize that if we don't take the time to, like, put up barriers and boundaries with work relationships or the work community in our life, it will deplete us from having, like, the greater community, which is, like, God's community, and that's what we
I need to
need.
let go of the outcomes of what people are going to think with it. I think that's the hardest part. Is like, what are people going to think with, like, they don't have my number? Like, it's like, at the end of the day, dude, it's if they get all bent out of shape about that, then you know what? It's not my problem. And so I think, again, to summarize it, it's really identifying, the key people putting a list together and identifying the main people I want to have in my life right now and be around that. And then also the people that, again, doesn't mean I don't like them, I love them, care about them. It's just that, I'm going to have less access to myself.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Let you guys know how that process goes, but we'll be back next week, and we'll go from there.
Thank you for watching Jaws.